Teen Book Talk with Stacey at the Goffstown Public Library. I am Stacey, the Teen Services Library Assistant. Today's book talk is for you 7th and 8th graders, but really, anybody can listen. We're going to be talking about the New Hampshire Isinglass Teen Read Award. Don't know what that is? You will by the end of this video. And I'm also going to share with you the 10 books that are on the current Isinglass Award nominee list. All right, the Isinglass Teen Read Award is a New Hampshire book award that promotes teen reading by inviting teens to help select great literature. The award originated in 2001 by the Barrington Public Library and the Barrington Middle School, and it was in order to promote teen reading, the participation of teens in a creation of their own reading list, and to honor those authors whose words speak to youth. Presently, the ability to nominate for this award and the ability to vote on a winning title is open to all New Hampshire students in grades 7 through 8. Each year, 7th and 8th graders across New Hampshire nominate their favorite books and vote on a title in April. Did you even realize you had such superpower? I wore my bling today just because we're talking about awards. Okay. In order for a book to make the Isinglass Award nomination list, there is some criteria. Yes, we have to have rules. There's so many books out there that without any rules, we'd be picking from everywhere. But these are pretty simple. First, titles must be nominated by New Hampshire teens in grades 7 and 8. They can be fiction, nonfiction, graphic novel, but they must appeal to this age group. Second, they must have a publication date within the last 2 years of the nominating year. Third, if the book is part of a series, it must be able to stand alone. Nobody wants to have to read the other books in the series to understand what's going on in this book. Yep. Okay, I'm getting a question. How long does this whole process take? Well, I'll tell you. See, it's a little tricky because there's always two lists going on, the current year list and the upcoming year list. But here's a timeline to help you see how it all comes together. All right, year-round, teens can nominate titles for the Isinglass Award. In March, a committee comes together and meets and votes on the 10 nominee titles for the list for the upcoming year. In April, teens start voting for a winner from the current year's Isinglass list. Usually the voting is done during National Library Week in April, but votes can be collected all month long. The deadline is April 30th. Now when we roll into May and June, the current year's winners are announced. That is based on that voting that happened in April. And then 10 nominees are announced for the Isinglass list for the upcoming year. And that is based on that committee meeting that happened in March. Then the process starts all over again. Okay, now that we know what the Isinglass Award is, we know how a book is nominated, and we know how a winning title is selected. Let's take a quick look at the current year's nominees. There are 10 titles, and from these 10 books, a winner will be decided. And that is where you come in, because the decision is all up to you, 7th and 8th graders. All right, a link to the voting is in the description field below this video, and that link will have the titles and the authors as well. Pay attention. These 10 books I'm going to go through pretty fast. Number 1, Spinning by Tilly Walden. This is told in graphic novel format, and it's the memoir that recounts the author's years devoted to figure skating. She would wake up before dawn for lessons. She would go right after school to group practice, and then she spent countless weekends in competition across her state. Really, figure skating was a central part of her identity. It was a safe haven from the stress at school, from bullies, and from her family. But she switched schools, got into art, and met her first girlfriend. And she started to really think, did the closed-minded world of figure skating really fit in with her life at all? Okay, our next book is called Saints and Misfits. It's by S.K. Alley. 15-year-old Jana Youssef, a Flannery O'Connor-obsessed book nerd and daughter of the only divorced mother at her mosque, tries to make sense of the events that follow when her best friend's cousin, a holy star in the Muslim community, attempts to assault her at the end of her sophomore year. Our next book is called Refugee by Alan Gratz. This is a story of 3 different children trying to find refuge First, there's Joseph, who is a Jewish boy living in the 1930s in Nazi Germany. Then we have Isabel, a Cuban girl trying to escape the riots and unrest that plague her country in 1994. And then we have Mahmoud, who is a Syrian boy in 2015, and his homeland is torn apart by violence and destruction. Although they are separated by continents and decades, shocking connections tie their stories together in the end. Our next book is Pashmina by Nidhi Chanani. For Pri, her mother's homeland can only exist in her imagination. That is, until she finds a mysterious pashmina tucked away in a forgotten suitcase. When she wraps herself in it, she is transported to a place that's more vivid and colorful than any guidebook or Bollywood film. But is this the real India, she wonders? And what is that shadow that lurks in the background? If you have been counting along, we are at book number 5 now. This book is in novel and verse format, and it is called The Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. Driven by the secrets and vengeance that mark his street culture, 15-year-old Will contemplates whether or not he is going to murder the person who killed his brother. Book number 6 is The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Iturbe. This is based on the experience of a real-life Auschwitz prisoner, Dita Kraus. This is the incredible story of a girl who risked her life to keep the magic of books alive during the Holocaust. See, 14-year-old Dita is one of the many imprisoned by the Nazis at the Auschwitz concentration camp. A Jewish leader asks her to take charge of the 8 precious volumes that they were able to sneak past the guards, and Dita agrees. Okay, moving right along, we have the Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. When Malcolm finds a secret message inquiring about a dangerous substance called dust, he finds himself embroiled in a tale of intrigue featuring enforcement agents from Magisterium, a woman with an evil monkey demon, and a baby named Lyra. To see how these all fit together, you have to read the book. Our next book is called Gunslinger Girl by Lyndsay Ely. 17-year-old serendipity Pitty Jones inherited 2 things from her mother, a pair of 6-shooters and perfect aim. She's been offered a life of fame and fortune in Cessation, a glittering city where lawlessness is a way of life. But the price she pays for her freedom may be too great. See, in this book, the West is wild once again, after a second civil war has fractured the U.S. into broken, dangerous lands. Pitty's struggle against the dark and twisted underbelly of a corrupt city will haunt you long after the final bullet has been shot. Our next book is called Brave, and it is by Svetlana Chmakova. In his daydreams, Jensen is the biggest hero that ever was. He is saving the world and his friends daily. But the reality of middle school is very different. See, math is hard. Getting along with friends is hard, and finding a partner for the school project when you're always picked last is a really big problem. But the pressure of middle school just keeps mounting when Jensen gets pulled into the school's newspaper. Oh, it's complete with all the social experiment projects and behind-the-scenes drama. Book number 10. All right, The 57 Bus by Dashka Slater. One teenager in a skirt, one teenager with a lighter, and one moment that changes the lives of them forever. This riveting book tells the true story of an agender teen who is set on fire by another teen while riding a bus in Oakland, California. It is a story that focuses on the concepts of race, class, gender, crime, and punishment. Okay, that is the end of the 10 nominees for the Isinglass Award. If you have read 1, 2, 3, 4, all 10 of these books and you want to vote, there is a link that is below this video in the description field. So New Hampshire teens in grades 7th and 8th, I hope you start voting. Remember, voting goes through till April 30th. If you've only read one of these books, or maybe you've read none of these books, there's also in the description field a list with all of the titles and the author, and I've also listed the downloadable resources so that you can get an e-audiobook or an e-book on so that you can look at these fascinating books yourselves. Listen, if you have been enjoying our YouTube videos, make sure you subscribe so you can get all the up-to-date content. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you're reading. You can do that by commenting on our YouTube channel. You can do that by commenting on Goffstown Public Library's Facebook, and you can do that by commenting on Goffstown Public Library's teen Facebook. We would love to hear from you. So, I hope that this was informative. I hope you enjoyed this rundown and summary of these books. Until next time, happy reading.